We're getting ready to start some sandblasting. I have these windshield frames. There's two of them that are like this. Okay, Pauline had stopped out here, so let's go talk with her. But I was saying we're getting ready to sandblast these. I got two of them to do. I'm hoping that they go fairly quick. I don't think I'm going to do the insides. I think we're just going to do the outsides. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I do need to do the outside or the insides because they wrap around. But so we're getting ready to do those. We left off last night with doing these pieces. These pieces came out really nice. Alright, so those look good. So let's get to work on this. Okay, we got this pretty much sanded up. I was not able to do the inside. I can't reach it in there. You can see even the edges, like I can't get the edges, so we're gonna have to just sand that and get that cleaned up. But we got the majority of it cleaned up. I'm gonna work on the other one, and we'll be back when it's time to sand this stuff. Cabinet's just a little too small, is what it is. At least I was able to get 90% of it. So alright, we'll be back. I don't know, could you even see me sitting in there? No, probably not. That's better. Okay, so we got this cleaned up, most of it. Couldn't get the inside. It's just, the cabinet's just way too small. You can see I couldn't even get the edges of it, so we're just gonna have to DA the rest of it, and it is what it is. At least we were able to get the majority of it. But I got the other one in there. I'm gonna get that finished up, and we'll be back when it's time to sand them and get them cleaned up for primer. So we got those blasted as much as we're gonna get them blasted, and the rest will be done with Cookie and DA. Cookie. We got that one cleaned up. I did notice there's the little, these are the little defrost vents. This one looks like somebody pried up on it. We'll have to hammer that back flat. And then I need to take So, I was saying, it looks like somebody pried up on this little vent here, so we'll have to hammer that down. And then need to take a wire wheel to all the screw holes and just make sure that those are all clean. If I can't get it, I have one of those like little cone wire wheel guys. If I can't get it with that, we'll have to throw it back in the sandblaster and just make sure all those holes are cleaned up. I was having a hard time seeing them in there. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna get this one cleaned up just like we did with that one. And then like I was saying, the screw holes, that little vent guy, and then once I get this one done, they'll be ready to run over with 80. And then we're gonna have to get them primed. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna take a screw through this center hole here, and then we'll have to hang them. Unfortunately, I don't think that these are going to be, you know, one of the easiest things to prime and paint, because, you know, we got to hang them. They're going to blow all over the place. But we'll get it done. I'll be back. Okay, got that one. I got that one ready to go. I'm gonna get the other one ready, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do to hang this. So find some nails or something and bend them in a hook. I don't know, something. We'll figure it out. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back. I finished sanding up the other one, and then I also I ran around the whole like inside part with the scuff pad, just because of, you know, we're gonna hang them and we got to get around that lip. So whatever we're spraying on there, primer, paint, clear, all that stuff, it's gonna get on that stuff. Not that you'll ever see it, but you know, I would hate for it to start flaking off. You know, he's got the windows down, he's cruising, wind's blowing through, and it starts flaking off and blowing around the truck. And it would probably take years for that to happen, but still, let's prevent that from happening. Here's what I figured out to try and hang it. So this is just a rivet. It's just the cheap aluminum rivets from Harbor Freight. I have a whole bunch of them, so I'm not going to be upset to lose 4 of them. And I'm taking a pair of needle nose, and I'm just kind of bending a hook around it, like so. And then I can hook it in. And it gives a very small footprint. So, you know, the smaller the footprint, the better, because, you know, underneath that, when we take that rivet back out, you know, there's going to be a circle area that didn't get primed. So I didn't want to use the actual screws that held it in, because it's going to be a larger area that doesn't get primed. I wanted the smallest thing possible that would hold it without, you know, I wanted to use the smallest area without pulling through. I lost track there. you know, you could take a piece of wire and you know, loop it around real big and hang it from that, and then you just have this little wire spot that might be touching. But the thing that I don't like about that is every time I hang something from a wire, I always end up with a line somewhere. You know, we might get full coverage in there, but there's still always like a line of orange peel or something where, you know, whatever you're spraying over it doesn't hit a certain area because of that line. Or, you know, you end up running it right there in that area because you're trying to get around the wire that is, you know, tied around it. So, me personally, if I can hang it from a screw or a bolt or something like that and not have the wire wrapped around it, I feel better about that. You know, what we can do is once we get all this primed, the next time I'm priming something, or maybe when we're painting it, or when it's all done, whatever, you know, I can always go in with a brush and brush, you know, some color over it, some clear coat over it, something to try and prevent it from rusting where that rivet was sitting, because we don't want to leave it bare metal, you know. So, you know, even just a rolled up piece of paper towel dipped in the primer and just, you know, wiggle it around in that screw hole just to get something on there. As long as we get some primer on there or some kind of base coat, clear coat, something on there to protect it, you know, I'm okay with it. It's gonna get covered by the screw, so it doesn't really matter like how perfect it is. It just needs some kind of protection. So now I think that we're gonna hang it from my bar up here. So I have this bar up here. So I'm gonna hang it from that. I don't know what those are or where they came from, but they were here when we moved in. And like all the garage doors had them, and they were either hanging or already off and just stacked in the corner. And I think that's the only one that's left. I've taken down all the other ones. I took down the ones on that side because that door doesn't even work. But I think, you know, they were made to keep the tracks from spreading apart. But when I put a new door up in here eventually, hopefully this summer, I would like to put new doors up. We won't need those. I will rebuild everything and it'll be all nice, new and stout and whatnot. So, and I'm hoping, we'll have to see, I'm hoping to put like a 2-car garage door up. So instead of having 4 doors along the front, there'll just be the 2 doors. And we'll actually gain some wall space. I know I'm kind of sidetracking from what we're actually working on, but we started talking about the garage doors and got me going. Okay, so I got, this is just some old welding wire that was in my welder when I got it. It's not good welding wire. It's that flux core stuff. And it's actually not the best stuff to actually hang stuff with. Because if you fold this stuff, if you fold it, it'll actually break because it's a flux core. It's like hollow in the middle and whatnot. This stuff's garbage. I hate this stuff. But I want to use it up. Okay, I think that will work. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get the other one hung up. And then once we get the other one hung up, I'm gonna grab that vent thing over there. We're gonna sand that up with some 180. There's some rust pitting on it that I missed with when we were doing the body work on it, and I tried to fill it with primer, but I know that I didn't get it filled with the primer, so we're gonna sand it down and reprime it with these, and then we'll make the decision. I don't want to leave these pieces hanging around for too long without getting primer on them, because we sandblasted those on Friday. Today was Sunday, and they were already starting to rust. You know, within 24 hours, or 36 hours, they were already starting to rust. So I want to get these primed before I go in for lunch. So if we can at least get like these pieces primed and that venting primed before we go in for lunch, I'd be happy. So and then maybe later when we come out this evening, we can work on that rocker and get that sanded down, get that masked off, ready for some primer, and we can drag that hood over here. That hood's ready, and then we'll prime that door jamb and that hood, and then that'll probably be the end of the day at that point. So but anyways, I'm gonna get this one over here hung up, and then we'll be back to sand that little vent guy. Okay, so we got those pieces hung, and I got this little piece here. I just grabbed some 180, and I'm gonna work on just sanding down the edges with the 180, and then we'll run over the flat spot with some 320 on my block. Only reason I'm gonna use the 320 is because there's nothing wrong with that piece of 320, and it's on my block. I don't want to peel it off and waste it. So the edge that I'm working on right now with this 180 is the problem area. So, but we're only going to prime this top piece. So like, I'm gonna mask off the bottom section of it, because I don't think we need to prime anything else on there. So we'll just mask it off. So, and I think we're just going to set this on the table then. Mask it off, mask it down to the table. Right where our problem area is, right on the front where you're gonna see it. So but once we get this cleaned up and reprimed, this is something that we can then prep out the inside here, and we can get this painted, jammed out. The top section we'll paint when we paint the vehicle, so that it matches. But we can get the inside of it painted. So we may have been able to get away with just painting this. So there's a couple areas that we broke through to the metal, so. But I was able to sand it all out. So we probably could have got away with just painting it. See how this top comes out. So I'm not even done sanding here yet. We've already broke through on the top, so it's a good thing that we're going to reprime it. If you remember, this top piece was all dented, and we had to body work it, so. Okay, I got this ready now. Normally, I'll just prime. Normally, I don't pre-clean bare metal, and I think I've mentioned that before in other videos, but I've had my hands all over that. You know, normally when I'm priming something that's bare metal, I've said it before that pre-cleaner can leave a residue that paint don't like. I've seen it cause fish eyes. Now, the pre-cleaner I use it specifically because it doesn't cause any issues. Like there's a pre-cleaner out there called Gone. It's just G-O-N. Like I'm not a fan of that stuff. Some people love it. I'm not trying to say anything bad about the company, but I've had it cause fish eyes. So I don't like using that stuff. Stuff I use, I haven't had any issues with, but I still try not to wipe too much bare metal down. But like when I'm working on a roof or a door or something like that, my hands ain't all over it. Usually the last thing to touch it was sandpaper, and then my blowgun, and then we just prime it. But my hands were all over that, so I wanted to just do a little bit of a wipe down on it. So I'm gonna get a little bit of primer mixed up, and we'll check back in once this is all primed. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys back here shortly. Okay, see if you guys last. So we got everything primed. I got 3 coats on these, and I got 2 coats on that. So that should be plenty to get everything wet, sanded, and scuffed up. I think those window frames, like, we're not even gonna wet sand those. I think we'll just scuff them and shoot them. They look really good. There's no body work on them or anything like that, so I'm not really, you know, too worried about anything on them. I think they just need to be scuffed and shot. If we do wet sand them, it'll just be very, very lightly. And then this piece here, you know, 2 coats, it looks good. So I'm happy with that. We got those 2 things primed up. Later after lunch, we'll come back, we'll work on the rocker and the hood. So we'll see you guys back here later. Okay, we're back out here after some lunch. I'm gonna sand down this rocker here that we did this little repair on, and hopefully you know, we're good to go after this. If not, we'll throw another coat on it, but let's see what we can get here. Now I want to try and stay just on this stuff with the 80. Once we start hitting the primer on the other side, we'll switch over to 180. Just because I don't want to ruin the primer around it. Okay, I decided to just put a little skim coat on there. It's very thin. We'll sand it just with the 180. I just feel a little bit better about that, because I don't like grinding out something and then filling it with filler and expecting that to, you know, be okay. And what I mean by that is you could see the line all the way around where we had grinded it out. Now I did, before we applied the first coat, I did come in with 80 grit and I kind of feathered it out. Which is so that we don't have, you know, just a hard line. If you guys kind of understand what I'm saying, you know, I didn't want a hard edge going all the way around, so I just feel better with this. Now we'll let that dry. I'm gonna go clean up that table over there and move those windshield pieces and get the hood over here. And when this is ready to sand, we'll get it sanded up and we'll mix up some filler or not filler, some primer, and we'll get her done. We'll be back. Okay. We're back over here on this rocker, and we're going to sand down this little coat that I just put on here. Okay, so we got the hood over here. I wiped it down, cleaned it up, and you can see we got the rocker taped off. So I'm gonna mix up some primer. And we're gonna get this stuff primed. I'm gonna shoot for 3 coats on everything. And we should be good to go after that. So I'll check in with you guys once this is primed. But once it's primed, that's it. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm not gonna do anything else, stir up dust or try and work on anything else while this stuff is sitting in here with wet primer on it. So I'm gonna call it a night after that, and you know, we'll be back out here on Tuesday. Tomorrow's Monday, so we'll be back out here on Tuesday to start getting everything ready for jamming, painting firewall, seam sealing, all that good stuff. So we'll be back here shortly to show you guys it all primed. So stay tuned. Okay. As you can see, we got the hood primed again. We just finished priming it. Well, I just finished cleaning out the gun, so we finished priming it maybe 5 minutes ago. So, and you can look around, you can see that there is no haze, no fog in here, no nothing. I get very little from primer because I usually spray at a low PSI, but anything that it does pick up, that picks it up. So much better with that thing in here, I tell you that. So that looks good. I'm happy. There was a couple of pinholes up here in that area that we broke through to. I didn't know that they were there, but I filled them with some primer, so we should be good. It looked like there was a chip or something right there, which I think it was a pinhole that didn't get sanded out when we sanded the hood down. But I put a couple extra coats on that, so we should be good. And we got that coated, and that looks really good. So calling it a night. Calling it an early night. It's been we did movie night last night, so last night was kind of an early night, but it's after 10. It's quarter after 10. So you know, we've been pulling late nights all last week. Like I was out here at 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30. So yeah, so we're gonna go in and call it an early night and eat some dinner at a decent time and see what the missus is doing. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and we'll see you on Tuesday for some prepping for some paint work. See you guys later. I'm out.